My name's Andrew. I'm a business analyst at the IDCO, but I'm the project lead for Nomo. So Nomo stands for No Money, Mo Money. It's a personal finance app, but we're taking a different take on what a personal finance app is. So rather than giving users giving them an in-depth analysis of where their money is going, what we're doing to the user is we're basically answering the question that we all ask today. If I asked you how well are you doing with your money, you would say you wouldn't really be able to say like a specific number. The idea with Nomo is that it's got the personality approach. So if you're doing bad, it's going to say you're doing bad. So these are some examples of the screenshots. So on the left, we've got the detailed summary. So the blue represents the last 3 months of the user's cash flow average. And then the colored line represents the cash flow of the current month. And then what Nomo does is does the difference and then tells you if you're doing better than the last previous months. So if you're doing good, it's going to say just wine and dine. And if you're doing bad, well, it's going to say it looks like soup for dinner. So the idea is to kind of become like it's a very simplified form of a PFM. So what I'll do is I'll give you a demo of the full OB journey, if I can log in.
So we've just recently plugged, using our own platform obviously, open banking into Nomo so that we support, I think it's what, 11 banks now in the UK?
Yeah.
9, 10, or
something like that. Yeah. So this is Nomo over here. So you open it. Got the standard terms and conditions, the fun stuff. So this is we're currently in test flight, so we're just doing this is our MVP, and we're still doing testing. So a lot of this is subject to change. So it's an honest cash flow tracker, magic 8 ball for money. So the idea is, can I drink tonight? And Nomo will say no. So it does all the thinking for you.
You can tell who's building it, right?
So it lets you know if you're doing good or bad. It's got 3 personalities, a friendly one, which is a little bit nicer. Then you've got cheeky, which is a little bit more sassier. And then you've got the motivational one, which is like the cheesy quotes and stuff that some people really like. Which came out of the user testing. And ultimately, you'll find out if it's salmon or sardines for dinner. So connecting to the account, this is using the Direct ID widget. It's probably asleep, but this is the consent stage of the widget. You've got standard stuff. It breaks down into the account details. So for consumers, they'll be able to see what details your bank account is being asked. So your account details, account transactions, and then you've got your links to the terms and conditions and privacy policy. They confirm. You then choose a bank. So I'll use one of the testing ones. Just this is HSBC. So what happens now is the user is going to now be redirected to the bank's online website. So this is HSBC. So as you can see here, the entity is the IDCO because Nomo is owned by the IDCO. And this stage is called authentication. So this is the user understanding what is being asked of them and what they're being asked to share. So what you'll find is that all the banks have their own methods of the UI. So logging in through the different banks, it's not all going to be the same. So HSBC love a pin sentry. So you'll have to exit the app, go into the HSBC app, generate a code. I'll write this down because I probably forget. And an example of the banks not being up to the standard of like kind of the UX side is that when I enter a number, I'll do 9 and then I'll close the keyboard, which is really annoying for users. Do it again.
We've got 20 seconds. Yeah. 5 seconds left.
So now what happens is I'm going to now authorize the bank to share my bank data with the ID code or NOMO. Turn to third party. And this is the user logged into NOMO. So it's just syncing now. It's got the standard FAQ settings. When the account was last updated, direct ID because you have to have it there. And this is basically the snapshot. This is telling you if you're up or down. This is a demo, by the way, as it says.
You're not up for it.
No. This is the summary. So there's a lot of priving involved for the end user just to let them know what's going on. So right now, it's just been synced with Open Banking. So this is connected. So as you can see, on the colored days, you got Saturday, Sunday. So you got the yellow days are the days when the user was above their average, and the orange is when they're below their average. And this is it. So it looks like a more money kind of day.
So you're going for a drink today?
Yeah. If you don't feel like a cheeky personality, go into motivating. It says stay strong. And if you want friendly, it's just the perfect day. Yeah, and just wine and dine. So that's NOMO. It's the demo.
Cool. Thank you very much. So yeah, absolutely. I think he's done a great job. Does anyone have any questions for Andrew?
When you did your customer research, how do people react and affect being told whether they can spend the money or how to
So
spend
what we found was that getting users to appeal to the idea of something where it's like, oh, you'll be able to see your goals and see what you should be saving for each month. There's a lot of stigma about the money, and looking at connected to your bank is very depressing, and there's lots of PFMs that do that. So with NOMO, what we found was by kind of just summarizing and just tell them if you're doing bad, so you quickly look, cry, and then continue the day, or if it's saying you're good, then just continue the day and they have a good idea. So that's the kind of customer research we did, was just getting users to give feedback of how they would want to be spoken to about their money.
Thanks.
And you're looking for as much feedback as possible, right? I mean,
Yes.
the OBIE's done a huge amount around customer experiences and journeys recently and trying to establish some better paths to that. I think we've seen on the raw end of that side of how bad it can be between, or how many variations there are between banks and stuff. But as our own implementation, we'd love feedback. So thanks, cool.
So in terms of the HSBC was one of the smoothest customer journeys. Barclays, it'll take you up to 5 minutes. The instructions are currently wrong on their online portal, and there's a lot of work done with FData to kind of push the CMA9 to follow and update their user experience for the users. At the moment we're in, make it better. At the moment we're doing a test flight, so you can just go to the IDCO site, and at the bottom you can just sign up to the private beta, and then it takes you to a form which follows the GDPR compliance stuff, so you don't need to worry about that, and you'll be able to test it out. And the last thing is that it's only for iPhone users, so I guess that's
We'll work on that.
Alright.
Cool, thank you very much.